Greetings, YouTube. The doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And we've got a couple of things that dropped within the last 24 hours. We're going to do a video on each one. The first one we're going to start with is the new Paladin. Let's look at this. Let's review it. Let's compare it to the 5e 2014-ish. I say ish because the Paladin has had a whole bunch of stuff added to them since 2014, but we're going to compare it to the 5e Paladin versus the 2024 Paladin. All right, so here we go. We got this article that came out a day ago. There it is, by David Barker. And there's a YouTube video that goes along with this. You can watch this. I'm not going to go over it. It is very long. It's like 25 minutes long. But I want to hit the highlights of this in, about 8 minutes or so. So every stalwart warrior of divine power, the Paladin returns in the 2024 Player's Handbook with a new yet still familiar arsenal at their disposal. So lay on hands, all that stuff. It seems like that we got it, but these are not the full stat blocks of the new classes, but they are a review. So let's take a look at what they've got changed. They put a table in here. I don't want to look at the table. What I want to look at is the actual overview that they had, and we're going to look at each thing compared to what it is right now. All right, so lay on hands they get at level 1. The Paladin in 5e gets lay on hands at level 1, so that really didn't change. Formerly an action to use, that is true for lay on hands. There it is, as an action, okay. Now only requires a bonus action. All right, so I have to be careful with that because you only get, so far as we know, you only get one bonus action. That didn't change. So this is the theme you'll see throughout the class, as many features have changed from an action to a bonus action. Lay on hands doesn't sound like the actual mechanics of lay on hands are going to change as far as the amount of healing that it does. So it looks like it's still going to be Paladin level times 5. So you have the power, healing, replenish, take a long rest. With the pool, you can store a number of hit points equal to Paladin level times 5. Okay, that seems to be the same. They didn't say it was going to change on a long or short rest, so I'm going to assume it's still a short rest. So lay on hand no longer removes diseases. So that means that cure disease is about it. It can cure the poison condition and now can be used on constructs and undead. Now, I would kind of look very badly on a good Paladin using this on undead, so we'll have to save that. All right, so that's pretty much the differences there. The old lay on hands, you could use 5 hit points to cure the disease or neutralize 1 poisoning effect. Now it only does poison, but it's a bonus action. And they haven't said anything about this 5 hit point thing, so I don't know how much that's going to change. All right, spellcasting. Big change from 2014 is that spellcasting is now accessible from level 1, whereas Paladins got spells at level 2. Okay, and with the number of spells you can prepare now, a fixed number listed on the Paladin table. This opens up a lot more options. So preparing spells, spell slots per level, that's the slots. And let's see here, spell casting, preparing spells is based off of your charisma modifier plus half your Paladin level in the old 2014, and now in this, it's going to be a number on the table. This opens a lot more options for level 1 Paladins, especially given the new and improved smite spells. All right, weapon mastery at level 1. So this is a completely brand new thing. There is no weapon mastery for Paladins right now because it doesn't exist in 5e. The first level Paladin gets more exciting with the addition of Weapon Mastery, which grants access to a suite of special rules. So you can select 2 weapons that you're proficient with, and they really haven't said that Paladin's proficiencies are going to change, so they are proficient with all simple and martial weapons. So you get 2 that you're proficient with and unlock their mastery properties. And each long rest, you can choose to change which 2 weapons this feature applies to. You're not really going to go walk around with a whole bunch. Essentially, maybe it's a javelin and a long sword. Or if you're a paladin that doesn't use a shield, then it's a javelin and, say, a halberd or something like that. But, could have a bow, could have a crossbow, so that could be in there. But they give the example of the longsword, which has the sap ability, which when you successfully hit a creature with an attack using a weapon with sap, the next attack made before the start of your next turn has disadvantage. So it's kind of, the paladin's supposed to be a little bit more controlly. All right, fighting style at level 2. Paladins get fighting style at level 2, but it's not a class feature anymore. It is a special subtype of feat that any class can choose from if they have the fighting style class feature. So they kind of reprint these in each one of the martial classes for fighting styles. So now they just made one table, and you just pick one. Paladins pick one of these feats, or alternatively, they can choose the Blessed Warrior option, which grants 2 cleric cantrips. I'm not sure if I would take those. It depends on the cantrips. We'll have to see what that is. Paladin Smite is the big, giant, massive change that we've gotten. So previously, a dedicated feature in the 2014 Paladin and formerly known as Divine Smite. The level 2 Paladin Smite, I don't know why they changed the name. They didn't really need to change Divine to Paladin, but the level 2 Paladin Smite feature on the 2024 Paladin works a little bit differently. Instead of granting you a Smite feature directly, it gives you a Divine Smite as a permanently prepared spell. The new spell works much like the 2014 Divine Smite class feature with a couple of differences. First, it can now be used on unarmed attacks. There is no I don't care what you say. Very rarely is a paladin going to be using unarmored attacks. That's complete flavor. The next sentence is all flavor. Could care less about that at all. I will never play a paladin that uses unarmed strikes. Just saying. Second, it now requires a bonus action to use, but it's a bonus action spell. But that bonus action can be taken immediately after you hit a creature with an attack roll, bringing it. I don't know why it's a bonus action if it's in reaction to you hitting. Should be a reaction, but it's a bonus action after you hit a creature with an attack roll, bringing it mostly in line with the original Divine Smite mechanics. So that's going to change quite a bit, because Divine Smite, and this is still at second level, Divine Smite, as we know, when you hit a creature, it's a feature, it's a class feature, and it happens when you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack. You can expend a spell slot. So it's still expending a spell slot. You deal radiant damage to the target in addition to the weapon's damage. And then it doesn't really say if there's a change from the damage mechanics of this. I'm going to assume they're not going to. So you deal damage. So if you crit, then this is maxed out now. I don't know how it's going to be in the 2024. But with this, you could do this anytime you hit. If you had extra attacks, then you could do it twice. If you were attacking off your turn, then you could do this during that time. So you could get multiple attacks in a round in which you Divine Smite. Now you were burning a lot of spells, but this caused a Nova Paladin effect. They are getting rid of that, and they're making it sound like a bonus action is good when it's not. And they're making it sound like you can use this immediately after you hit a creature. Well, you did that anyway. So this got nerfed, essentially. This got nerfed badly. I don't like this part of the Paladin at all. The Hexadins out there, so the Hexblade Warlocks that also were Paladins, that was a pretty good combo in 5e. That is now not going to be as good, because you could crit fish with that one and then do massive amounts of damage if you crit, especially if you were an Elven Hexadin with Elven accuracy. So we'll have to see how well that is. They have lessened the amount of times that you can use this in a round, basically to 1, because you only get 1 bonus action. I may be wrong. They may be allowing us to use more, but I don't know if that mechanic is changing. Okay, Paladin at 3rd level, we get the subclasses. So they changed 4 of these. So all 4 subclasses for the 2024 are returning options, but each one has a small globe. So right now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different subclasses. And they've only listed 4 here. I don't know if there's only going to be 4 in the book. The book is supposed to be pretty beefy, so we'll have to see. Oath of Devotion. So if we go to Oath of Devotion here, you get your Channel Divinity, Sacred Weapon. You can turn the Holy. So you can do these 2 things. You get a set of spells. You get your Aura of Devotion, Purity. So what are they changing here? Paladins with Oath of Devotion will find their features lasting longer as Sacred Weapon and Holy Nimbus each now last 10 minutes instead of 1 minute. Okay, so here's Sacred Weapon. There's that. And Holy Nimbus is a 20th level feat, so who cares about that one? In addition to its longer duration, I don't care about Holy Nimbus. It is a 20th level feature, so no one's going to get there. They also have a new feature that replaces Purity of Spirit. Purity of Spirit here is a 5th level thing, which means you're always under the effects of protection from evil and good. So in the form of Smite protection, which grants cover to you and your allies within your aura. Again, this is for 15th level. I don't think that's really going to happen too much. Finally, Oath of Devotion Paladins get tweak spells in the form of Shield of Faith, Aid, replacing Sanctuary, and Lesser Restoration. Okay, that's not too bad. Oath of Glory. And here we are. So you got some spells. Channel Divinity, Peerless Athlete, Inspiring Smite. So let's see. Aura of Alacrity, feature improved. So let's look at that. So it looks like the Oath of Glory aura isn't really changing, I guess. Or Oath of Devotion. That was Aura of Devotion. So Charm. And this one is allowing supernatural speed, allowing you to race across a battlefield. So let's see. This one, a 5-foot radius. Now your aura protections to determine who it. Now it uses your Aura of Protection. Okay, so Aura of Protection. We go back up here. Aura of Protection is now 10 feet. So, that's okay. It just increased it by 5 feet. Better synergy. Yeah, okay, whatever. Oath of Glory can also enjoy 1 hour duration on Peerless Athlete. Okay. Oath of Ancients. So you got your Channel Divinity, Nature's Wrath, Turn the Faithless, Aura of Warding, all that stuff. Okay. So Oath of Ancients is the Undying Sentinel. Would simply go to, okay, let's see. I'm going to assume that's a 15th level feature, so that's probably never going to happen. Nature's Wrath also now affects each creature of your choice within 15 feet and your targets must make a strength saving throw instead of getting to choose between making strength or dexterity. Okay, so that actually, not sure that's great. Where is this at? Nature's Wrath. So as an action, cause spectral vines within 10 feet. The creature must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained. Is that the same? 15 feet. Choice within 15 feet, and this one's 10 feet. So they increased the spread, and it's a strength saving throw now. That's okay, I guess. Elder Champion, that sounds like it's the capstone thing, and it is. And then we've got Oath of Vengeance. That's the big one that everybody wants that gives you advantage. So you do your Vow of Enmity as a bonus action, and you gain advantage for 1 minute. This one, Oath of Vengeance, receives an action economy boost with Vow of Enmity, no longer requiring an action, but instead can be applied when you attack. So does that mean that it still has a duration of 1 minute? I don't know. It also has an increased range and can be transferred when the current target of your vow is reduced to 0 hit points. Relentless Avenger and Avenging Angel also have boosts with a speed of 0 for the target, and I bet those are capstone abilities, and they are. Okay. And then we get Faithful Steed. Now, always have Faithful Steed on hand with the Fine Steed spell, always prepared from level 5 onwards. This feature also grants a single free casting of the spell once per day. Okay, so this is something they took away from 3.5, where you automatically got a steed, and now they're bringing it back. So you had to cast this spell to bring the steed up. Now you just get it. That's right, your mount has an upgrade too with a brand new bespoke stat for the Fine Steed spell. Okay, we don't know what that one is yet, but we'll find out. Abjure Foes, this is a new feature. Allows you to spend your Channel Divinity, which we get. I think we get 2 of these a day now. Channel Divinity. I think they said something about Channel Divinity somewhere up here. Paladin Smite. Maybe it's twice a day. Channel Divinity to target a number of creatures equal to your Charisma modifier and force them to make a Wisdom saving throw. Good save. On a failed save, a creature is frightened by you. While frightened this way, it is limited to only moving, taking an action, or a bonus action on their turn. This is really good. I actually like this quite a bit. This is really powerful because it limits them to a single action per turn and causes a lot of control. So I like that. Restoring Touch, another new feature. Alternative to Lay on Hands. You can now choose to remove one condition from a list of options that doesn't tell us what that list is. And then Epic Boon. Previously, a special reward found in the 2000. Okay, Epic Boons have made their way to as a new feat. So this is kind of a new form of a capstone ability. 19th level or higher. While Paladins can take any Epic Boon, the recommended boon is True Sight, which increases one of your ability score up to a maximum of 30 and can gain True Sight out to a radius of 60 feet. So I like some of the changes. These 2 things are good changes, the Faithful Steed and the Abjure Foes. This one's going to be really powerful, Abjure Foes. This is kind of neutral. All of the changes to the subclasses are kind of neutral. They're not fantastic. And the big nasty one is this Paladin Smite. Although weapon masteries are going to seem to be more controlling. It seems like the Paladin, they're moving it away from a damage dealer, striker type, more to a controller, like a battlefield controller. So all in all, it's okay. I am, just based on what I see, I'm going to give this one a B-, just because I don't like the change they're making to the Smite. And I don't like the fact that they changed the name either. It's always been Divine Smite. I don't like Paladin Smite. I think that's dumb. But it is what it is. All right, that's what I got for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.